keeping up with social media marketing these days,
Oh, tell me about it.
it can feel like a full-time job in itself, right? But what if there was a way to not just keep up,
Yeah.
but actually like really make the most of all that social media activity?
Turn it into a superpower even, you know?
Exactly. That's where social media CRM comes in.
Uh-huh.
So in this deep dive, we are going to be going deep on how social media CRM can
Yeah.
transform your social media from kind of like a juggling act into a well-oiled customer delighting machine.
Yeah, you got it. And we're not just talking about like slapping on a CRM system onto your existing social media accounts,
Right.
like haphazardly. Social media CRM is about weaving them together to create like a seamless experience
Yeah.
for your customers while giving you incredible insights and a whole lot more control. Think real-time conversations on platforms like, you know, your Facebooks, your Twitters, feeding directly into a system that helps you understand your audience better than ever before.
Now, I know some of our listeners might be thinking, okay, isn't CRM just for those giant companies with massive sales teams?
Right, right.
But hang on,
Yeah,
because the sources that we dug into
yeah.
actually reveal some pretty compelling reasons why even smaller businesses should be paying attention to this.
Absolutely. The benefits apply across the board. One key advantage is the ability to go beyond surface-level engagement with your customers. Take customer sentiment analysis, for example.
Yeah.
It's not just about, counting likes and shares. Imagine you're getting positive feedback overall. But sentiment analysis it reveals a pocket of, like, growing frustration around a specific product feature. That's gold. You can address that issue before it snowballs into a major problem, turn a potential negative into a positive.
So it's like having a superpower listening device that tells you not just what people are saying, but how they really feel about it. Okay,
Exactly.
that's customer sentiment. What other benefits did our sources highlight?
Well, think about how many platforms you're probably juggling right now. I mean, you've got your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, maybe even LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Each one has its own inbox, its own notification system.
Right.
It's so easy to miss things.
Yeah.
Social media CRM brings all those interactions into one central hub.
Okay.
No more jumping between tabs and apps. You've got a unified view of all your customer conversations.
Okay, that makes sense. I've definitely been there feeling like I'm playing whack-a-mole, trying to keep up with all those platforms.
Yes.
But isn't there a risk of kind of becoming too robotic?
Right.
If we automate too much,
Uh-huh.
won't we lose that personal touch that people really appreciate?
That's a great question. And it brings us to one of the most powerful features of good social media CRM, which is automation done right.
Okay.
It's not about sending out generic, mass-produced responses. It's about using automation to handle the routine tasks, like responding to common inquiries or scheduling posts at optimal times. And that frees you up to focus on the conversations that require a human touch, where you can really build those authentic connections.
So it's like having a super efficient assistant who takes care of all the busy work, giving you more time to be strategic and build relationships.
That's it.
I can definitely see the appeal there. Our sources also mentioned lead generation as a major benefit. Tell me more about how social media CRM takes lead management to the next level.
Well, think about it. People are already on social media talking about their interests, their needs, their pain points. A good social media CRM helps you identify those potential leads who are already engaged with your brand or your industry.
Yeah.
It's about building those relationships and moving them through the sales funnel in a way that feels natural and helpful.
Right. Not pushy.
Not pushy at all.
This is especially relevant for like B2B companies on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
I'm picturing a scenario where instead of those dreaded cold calls, you're using social media and CRM to connect with your ideal clients based on their actual interests and needs.
You got it. Exactly. It's about turning social media into a lead generation engine that works for you 24/7.
Nice.
Now, I know all this sounds pretty amazing,
Yeah.
but before you jump in,
Right.
it's important to choose the right tool for your needs.
Right, because there are tons of options out there, and it can be kind of overwhelming to sift through them all. What are some key features that our listeners should be looking for?
First and foremost, make sure it integrates seamlessly with the social media platforms you're already using.
Okay.
You want a tool that plays well with your Facebooks, Instagrams, Twitters, LinkedIns, bringing all those conversations into one central hub. Think of it as your social media command center.
Makes sense. And what about all that data? CRM is all about capturing information about your customers,
Right.
but it's easy to get lost in a sea of numbers. What should we be looking for in terms of analytics and reporting?
You want a tool that goes beyond just vanity metrics like
Mhm.
likes and followers. You need actionable insights. A good social media CRM should help you understand what's driving engagement, what content is resonating,
Yeah.
and what's falling flat.
Right.
You need data that helps you make smarter decisions about your strategy.
Data that helps you level up your social media game. Speaking of leveling up, what about automation?
Yeah.
We talked about it briefly, but I'm curious to learn more about the specific types of automation features that can really make a difference.
Well beyond scheduling posts and setting up basic auto responses,
Hmm.
you've got more sophisticated options like creating automated workflows.
Hmm.
Imagine a customer mentions your product on Twitter.
Yeah.
Your CRM can automatically trigger a thank you message or even route that interaction to a specific team member for follow-up.
Wow. It's like having a virtual assistant who knows exactly what to do
Right.
in every situation. That's pretty impressive. But what if I'm working with a team? How does social media CRM handle like collaboration?
Teamwork makes the dream work, right? You want a tool that allows for seamless collaboration. Think about assigning tasks, sharing notes on customer interactions, and even getting alerts when a teammate's already engaging with a particular customer. No more duplicated efforts or cross wires.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these features come together to create a more efficient and effective social media operation.
Right.
Now, I know there are tons of tools out there,
Oh, yeah.
but our sources did mention a few popular options. Let's dive into those and see what makes each one unique.
Sounds good. Let's start with one that's a favorite among small to medium businesses,
Oh, okay.
HubSpot.
HubSpot. I've heard great things about their CRM in general. What makes their social media offering stand out?
Well, one thing that sets HubSpot apart is its focus on inbound marketing. Their social media CRM is designed to attract and engage customers with valuable content
Hmm.
rather than interrupting them with ads. They've got some great tools for creating and sharing content that really resonates with your target audience.
So it's not just about managing conversations, it's about creating content that sparks those conversations in the first place.
Exactly.
I like that. What other tools did our sources highlight?
Another popular option is Hootsuite, known for its user-friendly dashboard.
Okay.
You don't need to be a tech whiz to navigate it.
That's always a plus.
Right.
I remember feeling totally overwhelmed when I first started using social media management tools. What are some of Hootsuite's key strengths?
Well, they excel at social media monitoring and scheduling. Their platform allows you to track brand mentions across multiple platforms,
Okay.
schedule posts in advance, and even analyze your social media performance.
No, it's like having a social media control panel that gives you a bird's eye view of everything that's going on. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But what about those of us who are a bit more budget conscious? Any recommendations for a more affordable option?
Absolutely. Zoho CRM is a great choice if you're looking for a powerful
Okay.
yet cost-effective solution.
Okay. Tell me more about Zoho CRM. What makes it a good fit for budget-minded businesses?
Well, Zoho offers a wide range of features, including social media management, lead generation,
Hmm?
and analytics, all at a very competitive price point.
Right.
They've got a free plan for small teams, and even their paid plans are incredibly affordable compared to some of the other big players.
So you get a lot of bang for your buck with Zoho. I like that. Any other tools we should have on our radar?
One more that stood out in our research is Sprout Social.
Okay.
They've got a strong focus on customer sentiment analysis, which, we discussed earlier.
Yeah, that deep understanding of how people feel about your brand. What makes Sprout Social's approach to sentiment analysis unique?
Well, Sprout Social goes beyond just basic sentiment scoring. They use natural language processing to identify the underlying emotions and themes driving customer conversations.
Wow.
This helps you understand the why behind the sentiment, not just the what.
So it's like having a therapist for your brand,
Yeah.
helping you decipher the hidden messages
Right.
behind those social media interactions.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a good sense of the tools and the benefits. Now let's talk about actually putting this all into action. How do we go from theory to practice and make social media CRM work for us?
That's a great question, and it's what we'll dive into next. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of implementation,
Okay.
let's take a quick break.
Sounds good. We'll be back in a moment to continue our deep dive into the world of social media CRM. Stay tuned.
All right.
Welcome back to our deep dive into social media CRM. Before the break, we were just starting to explore how to actually put this all into practice. So, how do we go from all these amazing tools and features to a solid social media CRM strategy that gets results?
Well, it all starts with a clear roadmap.
Yeah.
Our sources laid out a 5-step framework
Okay.
for successful implementation, and I think it's a great place to start.
Okay, I'm ready to get tactical. What's step one?
Step 1 is all about defining your objectives. Like, what are you hoping to achieve
Yeah.
with social media CRM? Is it improved customer support, increased lead generation, better brand awareness, or maybe a combination of all three?
Right, because if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, or nowhere, as the saying goes. So, clear goals are essential. What's next?
Once you know your destination, you need to choose the right vehicle
Right.
to get you there. So step 2 is all about selecting the right social media CRM tool.
Mm.
We talked about some popular options earlier like HubSpot, Hootsuite, Zoho,
Mm.
Sprout Social. But the key is to find the one that aligns with your specific needs
Right.
and your budget.
I imagine this is where things can get a bit overwhelming. With so many options out there, how do you even begin to narrow it down?
Yeah, think back to those key features we discussed earlier. Does the tool integrate with the platforms you're using?
Mm-hmm.
Does it offer the level of automation and analytics you need? And perhaps most importantly, is it user-friendly for your team?
Okay, so usability is key. We don't want our team to feel intimidated by a complicated interface. What's step 3?
Step 3 is all about empowering your team.
Yeah.
Even the most sophisticated tool is useless if your team doesn't know how to use it effectively. Investing in training is crucial.
Training makes sense, but wouldn't it be easier to just hire someone who already knows all this stuff?
It might seem that way,
Yeah.
but remember, even if you bring in an expert, your entire team will benefit from understanding the fundamentals of social media CRM
Okay.
and how it fits into your overall strategy.
Okay, I see your point. So we've got our goals, our tools, and our team is trained up. What's next?
Step 4 is where the rubber meets the road. It's time to put your strategy into action. Start engaging with your audience, tracking your results,
Right.
and analyzing the data.
This is where things get real. But I imagine this is also where things can get a bit overwhelming. With all that data pouring in, how do you know what to focus on?
Yeah, it's about identifying the key performance indicators, those KPIs
Right.
that align with your goals.
Mm.
Are you focused on increasing website traffic from social media?
Mm-hmm.
Track those click-through rates? Want to improve customer satisfaction? Monitor your response times and sentiment scores?
So it's about focusing on the metrics that matter most to your business goals.
Exactly.
That makes sense. What's the final step in this framework?
Step 5 is all about optimization. Social media CRM isn't a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Right.
It's an ongoing process of monitoring, evaluating, and adjusting your approach based on the data you're gathering.
So it's like a constant feedback loop. You're learning from your audience's reactions and refining your strategy along the way.
Exactly. The beauty of social media CRM is that it gives you real-time insights into what's working and what's not. You can use those insights to optimize your content, your engagement strategies,
Yeah.
your overall approach to social media.
Okay, so we've got a solid framework for implementation, but now let's zoom out a bit and talk about the future. What are some of the emerging trends in social media CRM that our listeners should be aware of?
Well, one trend that's already making waves is the rise of artificial intelligence, AI.
Okay.
We're seeing AI-powered chatbots handling basic customer service inquiries, AI algorithms personalizing content recommendations, and even AI-driven sentiment analysis tools that can really understand the nuances of human emotion.
So AI is taking on some of the heavy lifting, allowing businesses to scale their efforts
Yeah.
and personalize experiences in a way that wouldn't have been possible before. But I imagine there are also some challenges and ethical considerations that come with this level of automation.
You're absolutely right. As AI becomes more sophisticated, it's crucial to think about the ethical implications. How do we ensure that these algorithms aren't perpetuating bias?
Right.
How do we maintain transparency and control over these automated systems?
Right.
These are questions businesses need to be asking themselves.
Okay. AI is one big trend. What else is on the horizon for social media CRM?
Another exciting development is the integration of social media with other customer touchpoints.
Okay.
We're seeing CRM systems that can connect social media interactions with website activity, email marketing campaigns, and even in-store experiences.
So it's about creating a truly holistic view of the customer.
Understanding their journey across all these different touch points.
Yeah.
I imagine that level of insight could be incredibly powerful for businesses.
Absolutely. It allows you to create a seamless and personalized experience for your customers, no matter how they choose to interact with your brand. Imagine a customer mentions a product they like on Twitter,
Yeah.
then receives a personalized email with more information and a special offer, and then even gets a follow-up message from a salesperson when they visit your store.
Wow, that's next level personalization. It's almost
Yeah.
like you're anticipating their needs
Right.
before they even realize they have them.
That's the power of a well-integrated social media CRM system. It helps you create those wow moments that build brand loyalty
Right.
and turn customers into advocates. But as these systems become more sophisticated,
Yeah.
data privacy becomes even more critical.
Right. Because with all this data being collected and analyzed, it's important to be mindful of how that information is being used.
Right. And protected. What are some of the key considerations for businesses when it comes to data privacy in the realm of social media CRM?
Transparency is key. Businesses need to be upfront with their customers about what data they're collecting, how they're using it, and what steps they're taking to protect that information. Consent is also crucial.
Mm-hmm.
Give customers the option to opt out of data collection and be clear about the implications of their choices.
So it's about building trust by being open and honest about how you're using customer data. No sneaky tactics or hidden agendas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remember, data privacy isn't just about complying with regulations. It's about building ethical and sustainable relationships with your customers.
Well said. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in terms of future trends. AI, integrated experiences, data privacy. It's clear that the world of social media CRM is evolving rapidly. But what does it all mean for like the average business owner or marketer who's just trying to keep up?
Yeah, it can definitely feel overwhelming, but it's important to remember that you don't need to adopt every new technology or trend overnight. The key is to stay informed, be adaptable, and focus on those core principles
Yeah.
of building meaningful relationships with your audience.
Right, because at the end of the day, it's all about people. Technology can enhance our efforts,
Yeah,
but it can't replace the human element.
exactly. And that brings us to another important trend, the increasing focus on authenticity and transparency
Okay.
in social media. As consumers become more savvy and discerning, they're craving genuine connections and meaningful interactions.
So it's not enough to just blast out marketing messages and hope they stick.
Right.
You need to be real, you need to be relatable,
Yeah,
and you need to be engaging in a way that resonates with your audience on a human level.
absolutely. Think about it. People can spot a fake from a mile away.
Yeah.
They want to connect with brands that share their values, that are transparent about their operations, and that are willing to engage in genuine conversations,
Mm-hmm.
even if it means addressing difficult topics or admitting mistakes.
Yeah. Okay, so authenticity is key. But how do you actually achieve that in the world of social media where everything feels curated and polished?
It starts with being true to your brand's values and personality. Don't try to be something you're not. Embrace your quirks and imperfections. Let your voice shine through, even if it's a bit rough around the edges.
So it's about letting go of that need for perfection and embracing the perfectly imperfect.
Exactly. And remember, social media is a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about broadcasting your message. It's about listening to your audience, responding to their questions and concerns,
Right.
and engaging in those meaningful conversations.
Okay, so we've got authenticity, we've got transparency, and we've got genuine engagement. Any other ingredients in this recipe for social media success?
Well, one more trend that's worth mentioning is the rise of social listening. It's not just about tracking brand mentions anymore. It's about understanding the broader conversations happening around your industry,
Mm-hmm.
your competitors, and your target audience.
So it's like having your ear to the ground, picking up on the whispers and the rumblings that can inform your strategy and help you stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly. Social listening can help you identify emerging trends, uncover customer pain points, and even get a sense of how your brand is perceived
Yeah.
in the wider market.
That's incredibly valuable insight, but I imagine it can also be quite overwhelming. With so much data and so many conversations happening online, how do you even begin to make sense of it all?
That's where those sophisticated social listening tools come in. They can help you filter the noise, identify the most relevant conversations, and extract those meaningful insights that you can then use to inform your social media strategy and your overall business decisions.
Okay, so we've got AI, integrated experiences, data privacy, authenticity, and social listening. It's clear that the world of social media CRM is constantly evolving. But one thing that hasn't changed is the importance of putting the customer at the center of everything you do.
Absolutely. All these trends and technologies are ultimately tools to help you build stronger, more meaningful relationships with your customers.
Right, because at the end of the day, it's those relationships that drive business success. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to shift gears slightly and talk about something that's been on my mind.
Sounds good. What's on your mind?
Well, we've talked a lot about the benefits of social media CRM, but I'm wondering about the potential downsides.
Right?
Are there any risks or challenges
Yeah.
that our listeners should be aware of?
That's a great question. And you're right. It's important to consider both the opportunities and the potential pitfalls of any new technology or approach.
Hmm.
So let's dive into some of the challenges businesses might encounter when implementing social media CRM.
Sounds good to me. Lead the way.
So yeah, like we were saying before, it's important to consider the potential challenges that can come with implementing social media CRM. I think it's only fair to acknowledge that it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Right, because any new approach,
It comes with its own.
it comes with its own set of hurdles.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those potential downsides. What are some of the things that can trip businesses up?
Well, one challenge is simply the sheer volume of data.
Right.
We've talked about the importance of gathering insights
Yeah.
from social media, but it's easy to get overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information
Oh, yeah.
coming at you.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. How do you even know where to start?
That's where having clear objectives comes in.
Right.
If you know what you're trying to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
you can filter the data and focus on the metrics that matter most to your business goals. It's also where the right tools can be invaluable.
Right.
Look for a social media CRM that offers robust filtering and reporting options so you can easily, slice and dice the data
Right.
to get the insights you need.
So it's about being strategic and selective with the data you're collecting and analyzing, not letting yourself get bogged down by the sheer volume of information.
Exactly. Another challenge is the need for constant adaptation.
Okay.
The social media landscape is constantly evolving. New platforms emerge,
Mm-hmm.
algorithms change,
Right.
user behavior shifts.
Right. It feels like just when you think you've got a handle on things, everything changes. How do you stay ahead of the curve in such a dynamic environment?
Flexibility is key.
Okay.
Choose tools and strategies that can adapt to those changes.
Right.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
Try new things, see what works,
Mm-hmm.
and be willing to adjust your approach along the way.
So it's about embracing that agility and constantly learning and evolving. I like that. Are there any other challenges businesses should be aware of?
Well, one more that often comes up is the issue of resources.
Okay.
Implementing a social media CRM strategy effectively requires time,
Yeah.
expertise,
Right.
and often financial investment.
Right, because it's not a magic bullet. It's not
No.
like you just flip a switch and everything runs smoothly. It takes effort and dedication to make it work.
Yes, exactly. Businesses need to be realistic about the resources required, both in terms of personnel and budget.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the in-house expertise
Right.
to manage a social media CRM system
Yeah.
effectively? If not, are you willing to invest in training or hire someone with the necessary skills? And are you prepared to commit the necessary financial resources to purchase the right tools and implement your strategy?
So it's about making sure you have the resources and the commitment to see it through.
Yeah.
No half measures.
Exactly. Now, we've talked a lot about the challenges,
Yeah.
but let's not forget about the incredible opportunities that social media CRM offers.
Yes. Let's end on a positive note.
Yeah.
What are some of the most exciting possibilities that you see on the horizon?
Well, I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible
Yeah.
with AI and personalization.
Right.
Imagine a world where your social media CRM can anticipate customer needs,
Mm-hmm.
provide hyper-personalized recommendations,
Right.
and even proactively address issues before they even arise.
Wow, that sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. But it also sounds like a dream come true for any business owner.
It's definitely an exciting time to be in this space.
Yeah.
And I believe that the businesses who embrace these opportunities and approach social media CRM with a customer-centric mindset will be the ones who thrive
Mm-hmm.
in the years to come.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the world of social media CRM. We've covered a lot of ground from the basics to the future trends,
Yeah.
the benefits, the challenges, and everything in between. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
I'm all ears.
It's easy to get caught up in the technology, the tools, and the data.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, social media CRM is about one thing: building meaningful relationships with your audience.
Beautifully said. And that's something that no algorithm or automation can ever replace. It's about human connection,
Yes.
empathy, and authenticity.
Exactly. So as you embark on your social media CRM journey, keep that in mind. Use these powerful tools to enhance your human interactions, not replace them.
And remember, this is just the beginning of your exploration. The world of social media CRM is constantly evolving, so stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay connected.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic to explore. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.